What's happening, YouTubers? So basically, this is another recording of you guys watching me do my podcast. So let's see what happens. I like to breathe before. Monday podcast. Ready, steady, go. What's happening, guys and gals? This is Learning to Rise by Jeffrey Talks, and I am your host, Jeff. I think I said Jeffrey Talks, not Jeffrey Talks. So that's just a little fib that maybe I'll re-edit, or maybe I won't, and I'll just go for it because I want you guys to know that I'm a real human being, real freaking person. So today, I'm Jeff, if I didn't mention that already. But today we're going to be talking about accepting imperfections and also getting better at things we suck at. It's even hard to read that sentence. But, and then how to use our imperfections for good. I think that is one of the most amazing things for me, being in recovery, to be able to use all of the pain, guilt, and shame, and all the horrible things that I've done, and how I talked to myself, the internal chatter and just thoughts in my own mind, and how I overcame them, and how I can now share with others. So, being that this is a recovery-based podcast, I think I'm going to try to at least do my best to stick to those types of topics. If you would like to hear any other topics, I would highly encourage you to go to my website. It's still still with WordPress, so I am still working out the domain, but it's going to be Jeff Gonzell, JEFFGONZELL .wordpress WORDPRESS.com. And hopefully for now you should be able to, you can subscribe to an email list, which is highly encouraged. I would love to be able to inform you guys of any upcoming courses or events or anything like that. And I would also really like it if you continued to listen to my podcast, so you get updates on there. So, without any further chitter chatter, let's get right into it. Accepting imperfections. I don't know. Need I say more, or should we just wrap it up right then and there, right here and then, right now and later? I don't think I would be the person I am without my imperfections. There's no way I would have this weird, hopefully you guys think it's like a cute humor and I'm all over the place, but trying my best to be structured and just share my story, and without these, I struggled from a early age of in school with writing, with reading. I've read more books now in recovery than I have literally in my whole entire life. So at 30 years old, oh wait, hold on. I'm 34. At 32 years old, I actually started to enjoy reading and pushed and leaned into this uncomfortability that basically I suck at reading, and reading was never enjoyable because I wasn't good at it. Writing, right? I'm trying to journal now. Do I do it every day? Heck no. But I try to journal now, And just doing those simple things, I have been able to, first of all, get better at them just by giving them a little time and energy. And that kind of bleeds into our next topic. But reading, I sucked at it. And it was definitely, in my mind, an imperfection. And also because I graded myself on, like, basically, I didn't want to do anything that I wasn't perfect at because it didn't bring me any joy. And what I learned is when I actually applied time and energy and allowed myself to be imperfect, excuse me, and when I accepted the fact that I didn't need to be perfect, it was an absolute game changer. And so when I didn't judge myself and I could just allow myself to be the best that I could be in that very moment, in that present moment, my imperfections weren't so imperfect. They were actually the roots of which I could build upon. And I love creating things. I'm sure some of you out there love like being mechanical, love, even like healing others or healing yourself, or planting something in a garden and watching it grow. Basically taking nothing and creating something. And that's, for me, it's one of the most amazing things in the world. And then being able to share that with others. So, examples, I was a sucky reader, and I hated even being called on in school because I couldn't speak clearly. I couldn't speak, I just couldn't enunciate words properly. I couldn't, like, I don't know if this makes sense, but like I wouldn't be able to read the sentence and you wouldn't be able to tell if the sentence was like beginning or ending. Like I just had a hard time flowing with it, right? But, put a hockey stick in my hand or a skateboard or snowboard or surfing or like anything like a physical activity, I thrived at. And I loved it because it made me feel so good. So I kind of created this like egoic, that typical, like, I'm a crap student, but I'm a great sporty guy. I'm good at sports, but I suck at like the book stuff. So I'm just gonna focus, double down on my strengths and just try to completely avoid my weaknesses. Again, my weaknesses are my imperfections in my own mind. But now, learning how to quiet my mind and learning to accept these things that are really hard, it just kind of opened up a completely different idea, perspective, and opportunity for me to not only like want to grow as an individual, but grow in career. Literally starting this podcast. This is, coming from someone that has a hard time speaking and like writing things down. Like I'm literally working on my intro to this whole entire show, and I'm trying to be transparent with you guys and open because I want you to hopefully relate to me or follow me because I'm another human being. I'm not perfect. This podcast show is hopefully going to grow and evolve as I grow and evolve. And the more time and energy I put into this thing, the more I benefit and the more you benefit and the more we all benefit from this. The same way that we strengthen a muscle, right? You got to kind of get it to that place where it's fatigue or it almost tears or it's broken, to allow it to heal and to actually grow bigger, fuller and stronger. The same thing for me with stretching. Oh my gosh. My hips were so crazy tight. They're still crazy tight, but they don't go numb as much when I just like sit down. I can actually sit flat on the ground with my feet straight out and they don't go numb. And it was just because of the horrible just tightness that they would literally like stop my blood from circulation because my muscles would be so tight. There was no room for the blood to literally circulate. So setting aside some time every evening to just stretch, to do that pigeon pose that is horrendous for me because my butt is so stinking tight. I don't say that to flatter myself. I say that because I've never been able to sit Indian style or cross-legged since I was in elementary, since ever. I don't remember a time ever being able to cross my legs. But now I can sit on the ground and my legs don't go numb. And that's just from putting a little time and energy into something that I suck at, but accepting the fact that it's okay if I'm not good at it. I don't need to be the best at it. I don't need to be perfect at it. I need to love myself and meet myself exactly where I'm at, and then be willing to grow from there and be really willing to move on and to advance from there. Progress, not perfection. So I hope some of those examples are good, and I hope you guys hopefully you definitely get a couple of those pointers. And moving on to our second topic would be getting better at things we suck at. And I'm kind of noticing this has to be just like something that I'm really struggling with, to be completely honest with you guys and to be vulnerable with you all. I even the other podcasts that I did most recently, I think I talked about doing things that like you hate and how important it is to like do things that you hate, and that just like for me it's like I must do this, I have to do this. So for me, getting better at things that I suck at, oh my gosh. So let's go back to the reading example. The only way for me that I really knew how to get better at reading was reading and being able to like be okay with reading a few sentences and immediately forgetting what the heck I just read, or not feeling like my writing was even legible, or feeling like I would write something, or feeling like I could never get in this like flow state of just like being creative and just journaling and writing all my feelings down. Just expressing my feelings has always been incredibly tough for me. And I think that's a big reason of why I drank the way I drank, because it finally allowed me to be so numb that I didn't care. I didn't want to impress anybody else or impress even myself, that I could just finally be, accepting of my imperfections and not really care that I sucked at a lot of different things. Right now I think I'm really struggling with, I'm not where I want to be, and it's specifically financially. And I looked at this COVID-19 thing like an opportunity. I'm so grateful to my employer that gave me a week off. But I went back to work today, and I'm so grateful to be able to go back, because I know not everybody gets to go back. But gosh, man, I struggle so badly with like this, what success is to me. And I want to be rich. I want to be financially free. And it's been so hard, and it's because I feel like I will never be where I want to be. And one side of me, I don't know if it's ego or what, but one side of me thinks that that's okay. But then another side of me thinks that it's just like me just always wanting to grow and always wanting to be better, and this passion and this drive that, I was born with. But to be completely honest with you guys, I'm not really sure exactly what that is, and that's something that I'm working on myself and trying to find that balance. Balance is so important, and in recovery, sobriety, in your career, in relationships. Oh my God, and so many things, like balance is so important. When to say, I'm here for you, and when to say, I need my own time with myself. It's like, when do I say I need time to meditate and I'll come right over, in a relationship? Or when do I say, I'm being worked too hard, or I feel like I'm not prioritizing my time and my energy? It's a really difficult thing for me. So I hope that me just kind of being vulnerable with you guys hopefully helps. And I'm really just trying to encourage. I know that wasn't very encouraging, but we're all in this together. And I think just admitting the fact that, like, I struggle literally feels better. And I guess I want to say thank you for allowing me to kind of pour my heart out a bit, and just say that, like, I'm not perfect, and I'm trying to accept the fact that I'm not ever going to be perfect, at least up to my own standards, and that's okay. So for my little outro that literally I wrote down in this outline, because I'm trying to be more structured, right? So right before that, I wrote down how to use our imperfections for good. And I think for me, this really ties it all together. And I hope I was able to even portray this in today's podcast. But my kryptonite is my superpower. So let me try to explain this. The thing that makes Superman human is kryptonite, and is his ability to empathize and feel real emotions, that he's not always this super hard, literally, like stops bullets, but like he's not hard all the time. He has kryptonite that literally makes him human. And for me, I would always put certain people on pedestals, going to a private Christian school, I put pastors on this pedestal, and then I'd see them act a different way, and then I was like, wow. But in reality, and then I would judge them, right? But in reality, I was the one that put them on this pedestal that made them quote unquote special or better than. But in reality, they're just another human being. They have tons of imperfections just like I do. So I think our imperfections, right, and things that for me that I suck at, it isn't like this thing for, again, like this stuff takes work, right? And it takes time to really accept it internally, like for myself. But the more comfortable I can get it get to a state that I love and accept my imperfections, others will love and accept my imperfections as well. And in those beautiful moments of like, I really want to use the word of just like being one with yourself, that's when we connect. That's when we really feel as one to the universe, with ourselves, and with everybody else around us. So I hope that rocket ships it to the moon. I don't want to say, like a baseball game, like hit it, home run, Jeff, but like rocket ship to the moon, baby. Anyways, so I hope that ties it all in together for you guys. I really am so grateful for this opportunity to just have this ability to share just a few of my imperfections and how I'm trying to accept them, and how sorry, I'm looking at some of my notes. It's really cute. Anyways, let's do the outro. So I guess I was already reflecting on how I was feeling about sharing about it. So thank you for listening. And call to action, I already shared that. I'm probably gonna edit a lot of this stuff out because it's kind of a hubbub. And what is next? So the next podcast that I'd like to do, guys, is probably going to be along the lines of another breathing exercise. I got a lot of downloads from the short little box breathing technique that I shared, the guide and like the follow along. So I think I want to do something along those lines. So definitely stay tuned. Go to the website and subscribe if you haven't already. But I love you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day and be blessed. All right. Bye. Well, I feel like that was kind of a train wreck, but we'll do some editing. Probably a lot of editing. And subscribe, guys. That was as best as I could, and I hope you were able to take something from it. I definitely did. I learned something from this whole entire process, so I appreciate it. Don't mind me while I lean over and disrecord it, stop recording, because I don't have a little remote button thing yet, but keeping it real out here in my room. It's actually really hot. I need to open a window.